The sacred temples. Ulid had mentioned something about sustaining his sacred temples. And Malika had mentioned something about how they used to see their body organs as food processors, and now they revere them as something sacred and intelligent. So, I wanted to understand a bit further what this was all about. Our created mental concepts project what we understand and have come to believe as the ultimate reality is that our biological bodies are the product of nature and evolution. The things that our instincts drive us to do we take as only the one way of doing things, that there is no objection or alternative to it. For example, when it comes to dieting, we are born in an environment where we eat a specific diet with a logic to back it up as a healthy diet. However, this has not always been the case, because some people can live without food for a longer period of time than average people, something that defies the logic. While others, when they try to switch to a non-flesh eating diet, their bodies don't agree to that. The actual problem is not in the dieting but stems out of the core understanding of the nature of our reality. Our bodies are the shadows of who we are, and then what we are is also the shadow of what you have accepted as a reality. When you anchor your reality from the standpoint of beingness, you will then realize that everything that exists around you is nothing but a passing wind. To understand the hierarchy of the structures of your reality, you must first shift your acceptance from what you have believed you are, to what you are experiencing right now. Your beingness, the beingness of this present moment, is not fixed on any specific form, it is just being. Whenever you think, you will realize that the beingness is there. Whenever you act, you will also realize that beingness is also present. Whenever you feel, walk, and do anything, you will always find out that there is the presence of that beingness. In this beingness, there is nothing behind it, above it, and neither outside of it. Because it is simply all there is, it is the all. It can be all and can also be nothing. And it is the pillar of all realities. The sacred temples are the inner spaces that this beingness is connected to. These inner spaces manifest or cast their shadows as the biological body systems, where these systems are the result of concentrated activities within the inner spaces of a person. Your nervous system, for example, is the concentrated space of the mind. When you learn new skills, you are also creating new neural pathways, and therefore you change the physical shape of your brain. When you perform a specific action that requires a certain set of muscles, you are also altering the shape of your body. The opposite is true, that if you don't use certain muscles or sets of skills, you are also losing or shedding those physical functions. You will find that a person with a high tolerance and patience, his or her character cannot be identified from the physical appearance. However, on the chemical levels, these characteristics can easily be identified because of the chemical composition. Those with higher tolerance have less acidic levels in their bodies compared to those who are not. So, the body does tell a lot about its inhabitants. You will also find out that certain types of body sense can tell a lot about a person. It is the same with the biofields. So, it follows that when you perform certain activities, you are putting your body in a better rhythm and harmony, where your organs are the indicators of your state of being. It happens that the internal organs, since they are the centers of these concentrated energies, are like the stations of what has happened and what could happen potentially. They act as energy generators and receivers. But they must first be purified, aligned, and tuned up, so that they can perform on the optimal level. These body systems are considered sacred temples, because they are the centers of preserving, receiving, and giving energy. They are not viewed as separate units, but connected to networks between internal and external activities. They have a pattern of multi-layered where they exist in different realities simultaneously. For example, the digestive system is not an activity that is only restricted inside the human body, but also connected to a person's environment, as a person would require food from their environment to be able to digest it. And therefore, there is an internal and external digestive system, where there are external processes that produce that which would later become digested by the digestive system. Whenever a person improves their diet, they are also improving their energy levels in higher dimensions, as well as improving their environment. That is why the internal organs are sacred temples, which have to be revered as to what is being put in them. A person has to be mindful of what kind of information is being accepted in their conscience, as well as the food intake, the air they breathe, the images they are exposed to, and so forth. When a person improves the quality of his main temple, which is the body, they are then improving all other networks that are connected to this temple. On a personal level, which is their ways of life, they have to be mindful of their diets, the types of knowledge they accept or involve themselves with, the cleanliness of their surroundings, the physical activities, and social interactions. When this art is mastered, the internal organs can generate a variety of energies, produce different types of chemicals, and many other amazing things. I feel as if the core of this art is in the way of life. Once one improves their way of living, the rest will follow. The Great Disclosures. Before the conflicts and wars, when we were living in ignorance and confusion, the Great Disclosure started as a regular viral video on social media on the account named The Great Disclosures. A person was explaining how simple it is to know your friend's secrets. He said the easy way to know what secret your friend is keeping from you is to simply gaze right at the center of their eyes with a blank mind. You gaze at each other's eyes while placing your palms facing each other. And he said that without doing anything, just gazing at your friend's eyes about a foot apart for a little over 5 minutes. What will happen is some ideas will start to surface in your mind, but you must keep on leaving your mind blank and keep gazing into your friend's eyes. As time continues, it will reach a moment where you become confused between your thoughts and your friends. He continued to say that your mind will start to merge with your friends. This was what he called mental entanglement. At this stage, the one with a stronger mind will take the lead in the direction of the thoughts. And if you wait a little longer, the two persons won't be able to differentiate their identities, because they will become one mind. If you snap out of this trance, both individuals will automatically know each other's deeper secrets. The video gained popularity because it was simple and easy for people to try it at home and share their experiences. Later, the same individual came up with other simple tricks, which could not be explained. For example, they recorded videos a few weeks ahead of time with future dates and events. They claimed they were able to jump into the future and come back for a short time. There were other videos of places that were hard to explain and what kind of objects or items were in the video. This channel gained popularity very quickly. Millions of followers and everyone was talking about this channel. But it was never revealed who was behind that channel. The individuals behind that channel claimed to possess some information that would shatter our reality. A week later, this social media account started publishing a series of short publications. These publications consisted of some principles and general information of people. The information seemed to be very simple, but it was as if this information completes most of the unanswered questions, mysteries, and science. This information ranged from the origin of life to the reality of the universe, the meaning of life, and almost everything a human could ever wonder about was answered in those simple publications. The publications consisted of 24 original issues, of which each issue had about 5 to 11 papers. As of this moment, Yulid's world is the result of that disclosure. These publications caused riots, the collapse of financial systems, and many major government systems collapsed. Because what was in those publications revealed the true nature of man. After the Great Disclosures, they understood the structure of reality. It was a relief and caused war at the same time. And later they discovered that it wasn't a human who was behind that channel, but an artificial intelligence, a social media bot, which was created by a group of rebels. They released it on the internet decades ago, where it was capable of self-learning and self-improving. It scrapes and learns everything on the internet, to later come and reveal things. It was then that they discovered there were different factions within human communities. These factions are not races, but can be identified by their appearances, body structure, traits, and characteristics. The true identity of human is never lost, but was always on the dimensions above the existing one, and after disclosure, people were capable of becoming aware of these other realities, where some moved permanently to where their origins were. This was not an overnight event, where people became transformed, but a series of different events that escalated into chaos, war, and the elevation of consciousness. It took decades for people to begin to change their lifestyle, until they turned into what the current Yulid world is, on which they are restoring the higher essence of themselves. The Chap-Chaps are among one of the factions. They are very well versed in the nature of materials and the chemistry of things. Because of this, they can phase into other dimensions. They have had this secret for centuries, but decided to share it after the Great Disclosure. They possess the type of material when mixed on any glass where, when a proper vibrational frequency is applied to that glass, it reveals what is on the other dimensions. And when a proper amount of this substance is applied to anyone's blood, with a special musical tone, a person can go into other dimensions through dreams. By using this technique, they then understood better the actual structure of the universe.